Today, the Israel Defense Forces carried out a masterful operation, cunningly disrupting the enemy's elaborate plans. They discovered the strategic location where the terrorist organization Hamas wove its network of deception, focused on the clandestine production of long-range rockets used to attack Israeli cities in recent years. In an operation that combined cunning and bravery, the Israel Defense Forces revealed that these deadly projectiles were manufactured stealthily, hidden under the imposing main road that crosses the Gaza Strip from north to south. In a game of wits and strategy, members of the prestigious 188th Armored Brigade and the prominent Golani Infantry Brigade carried out tactical operations at Camp de Bure, strategically located in the central Gaza region. In recent weeks, these brave soldiers encountered what the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, has labeled a terrorist stronghold, a shadowy nest of weapons manufacturing. A finding that highlights the tireless dedication of security forces in their tireless pursuit of truth and security for the nation. Every step of this operation has been meticulously executed, revealing the Israel Defense Forces' prowess in unraveling hidden threats lurking in the shadows. This achievement not only symbolizes a tactical victory, but also a reminder of the resilience and determination of the State of Israel to safeguard the peace and security of its citizens. In this epic tale of courage and cunning, the Israel Defense Forces have once again demonstrated their ability to confront adverse challenges and preserve the integrity of the nation. The terrorist bastion has been dismantled, marking a milestone in the constant struggle for peace amid the complexity of the conflict in the region. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, the rocket manufacturing facility along the Salah Aden Road in Buj, which stretches for approximately 1.5 kilometers, emerges as the largest complex discovered to date in the Gaza Strip. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, provided several media groups with a detailed guided tour of the facilities, revealing the magnitude of this strategic enclave. During the visit, journalists were allowed to explore the underground laboratory responsible for the production of rocket engines, as well as the warehouse and storage facilities where the tubes that make up the body of the deadly projectiles are assembled. In the early stages of the conflict, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, designated Salah Aden as a humanitarian corridor, allowing Palestinians to seek refuge from northern to southern Gaza. However, this humanitarian corridor turned out to be the veil behind which a complex rocket manufacturing network was hidden. These strategic locations were camouflaged in the surrounding neighborhoods of Salah Aden, transforming the apparent safe zone into a network of what Colonel Orvalinsky, commander of the 188th Brigade, described as terror factories. During the raid, Boden's forces, controlling the headquarters of Hamas al-Bure Battalion, discovered more than a dozen tunnel entrances in the vicinity. Even a seemingly insignificant building revealed its secret by hiding a waiting room with sofas and a bathroom. In the next room, a staircase led to a tunnel that revealed an astonishing underground chemical laboratory, approximately 20 meters deep. This laboratory, according to Belinsky, was dedicated to the production of rocket engines and explosives. The commander highlighted the discovery of hundreds of bags in the underground laboratory, intended for the manufacture of explosives for the rockets used in the attacks against Israel. Among the discoveries, he noted a bag containing a chemical used by Hamas for the production of rocket fuel. Belinsky revealed that this underground complex was interconnected with other nearby tunnels, underscoring the complexity and extent of the weapons manufacturing network uncovered by the Israel Defense Forces. The construction of these tunnels most likely took place over several years. Erecting a facility of this magnitude requires a considerable amount of time, a fact that Colonel Belinsky certainly highlighted. Responding to a question about whether the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, had intelligence in the region before the ground operation, Belinsky admitted that they had general knowledge of the area, but not of the exact location of the tunnels. With 3 months of experience in the region, Belinsky explained that, although the search was arduous, the forces had information that allowed them to determine where to focus their efforts. A combination of tactical prowess and information gathered during this time gave them the keys to unraveling the intricate network of tunnels used by Hamas. Nearby, the journalists were taken to a strategic Hamas factory, where warehouses equipped with lathes and heavy machinery used in the production of long-range rockets, as well as other types of weapons such as mortars and explosives, were revealed. Inside one of the warehouses was a deeper underground shaft, connected to an extensive underground network that Hamas uses to disperse its weapons throughout the Gaza Strip. The last stop allowed by the Israeli Defense Forces was a long-range rocket depot, both above ground and underground. The structure was found to house numerous carefully packaged rockets with a range of 80 miles. Next to them, an exceptionally large tunnel entrance allowed these imposing projectiles to be accommodated. According to military officials, this construction allowed the rockets to be protected efficiently. Colonel Yair Pillay, commander of the Golani Brigade, emphasized the importance of the ground maneuvers by revealing that the Israeli Defense Forces are currently dismantling all discovered facilities. "You need to get there, investigate, and then remove it completely, making sure nothing is left," Pillay said. Although Hamas can still fire missiles, destroying these facilities is crucial to neutralizing weapons manufacturing capacity and ensuring long-term security. Following the success of the previous operations, Israel carried out an extraordinarily successful action. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, decisively announced the elimination of a senior Hamas official in Syria responsible for recent missile launches against northern Israel. According to the statement, Hassan al-Qassam was killed in the city of Beit Jin, located in the southern region of Syria. Although details about the execution were not specified, it is presumed that al-Qassam, as a member of Hamas, was linked to various missile attacks originating in northern Syria. In light of this development, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, stressed that the Syrian government is responsible for any action that comes from its territory, and warned that it will not tolerate terrorist acts that originate on Syrian soil. "We will continue to act against any threat," they reaffirmed. In parallel, Israel carried out a series of devastating attacks in Syria, marking a significant change in its strategies. These attacks targeted cargo trucks, infrastructure, and people involved in the weapons supply chain for Iran's allies in the region. Sources, including a Syrian military intelligence official and a commander in the regional alliance that backs Damascus, revealed that Israel modified its tactics after the attack by a Hamas member on Israeli territory on October 7 and the subsequent bombing campaigns in Gaza and Lebanon. According to these sources, Israel, despite years of targeted strikes in Syria linked to Iran and Hezbollah, has intensified its airstrikes, targeting not only specific areas but also Iranian arms transfers and air defense systems in the country. This change in approach indicates a new stance, where Israel no longer shows caution in inflicting considerable losses on Hezbollah. The intensification of the air campaign has resulted in the deaths of 19 Hezbollah members in Syria in the last 3 months, more than double the total recorded in all of 2023. Simultaneously, more than 30 Hezbollah militants lost their lives in Israeli bombings in southern Lebanon during the same period. Israel's strategy has evolved, adopting more lethal and frequent airstrikes, marking a new chapter in the complex dynamics of the region. Although the Israeli military chose not to answer these questions directly, a senior Israeli official, on condition of anonymity, provided crucial information to journalists. According to this source, Hezbollah began the recent round of hostilities on October 8, and Israel's response was defensive in nature. The Israeli chief of staff, when questioned about the possibility of an attack in Syria a month ago, emphasized that Israeli forces were operating throughout the region, taking all necessary measures to show their firm will to defend. Despite the years that have passed since Israel began attacking Iranian-linked sites in Syria, sources indicate that Israel avoids, to the extent possible, eliminating members of Hezbollah. According to a regional intelligence official, the concern lies in possible retaliation by Hezbollah in Lebanon against Israeli towns directly across the border, given the high death toll associated with the conflict. However, the source indicated that Israel is willing to be less cautious and more direct in confronting Lebanese Hezbollah members in Syrian territory. Against the backdrop of daily clashes following the October 7 attack, Syed Hassan Nasrallah, leader of Hezbollah, issued a televised speech on January 5. In this, he mentioned the constant Israeli bombings in various places in Syria. Nasrallah highlighted a change in the pre-conflict formula, where previously, if one of its members was killed in Syria, the response would be limited to the Lebanese front. However, according to Nasrallah, the conditions of this formula have changed, as the entire front is now illuminated, indicating an escalation in the complex dynamics of the region. The PR Syria Alliance commander revealed that on December 8, an Israeli drone strike resulted in the deaths of 3 Hezbollah militants, who were allegedly planning operations in northern Israel. Simultaneously, another attack in Sitra, southern Syria, targeted 2 Hezbollah members responsible for arms transfers. In both cases, the operations were carried out by Israeli drones. In late December, an attack on buildings and trucks used by Iranian militants on Syria's eastern border with Iraq resulted in the deaths of 4 more people, including members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. In December, 2 Guard members were also killed in an Israeli airstrike, and on December 25, another strike claimed the life of a senior Guard advisor tasked with overseeing military coordination between Syria and Iran. According to a source familiar with Hezbollah's activities in Syria, the new reality that emerged after October 7 changed the dynamic, indicating a continuing series of Israeli attacks against Iranian forces and their allies in Syria. The source noted that since then, not a single month has passed without deaths or damage to Iranian militias in Syria. The source emphasized that, given this situation, it would be surprising if Hezbollah did not carry out retaliation. Hezbollah has reiterated on several occasions that Israel should fear the organization not only in Lebanon, but also in Syria, and has warned that it will not tolerate Israeli attacks on Syrian territory. The escalation of tensions and constant violence in the region suggest an increasingly complex and volatile panorama.